Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. As covered in our last travel vlog, we recently had the amazing chance to backpack through South America and ended up making a stop in Peru. Out of all the things we did, the one place that left us truly blown away was the world-famous Incan citadel of Machu Picchu. So in this video, we're gonna cover everything you possibly need to know about visiting Machu Picchu, from transportation, how much you'll spend, things to watch out for, and other travel tips and advice to help you plan your next visit. As an added bonus, we'll put all the links to everything we cover today in the video description below. Before we begin, if you haven't done so already, click the subscribe button below. Taking the literal millisecond to do so really helps our small channel grow and ensures you don't miss out on future adventures. With that said, this is Backpack Gringo, providing a complete and comprehensive guide on visiting one of the world's 7 wonders, Machu Picchu. In order to get to Machu Picchu, the first step in your journey is traveling to the city of Cusco. Passing through the city is mandatory given Machu Picchu's remote location. To get to Cusco, assuming you're already in the Peruvian capital of Lima, you can either fly or take a bus. The bus takes at minimum 21 hours and costs between 20 to 35 USD. This is obviously the worst option and life decision you could possibly make, unless of course you enjoy suffering for long periods of time. Instead, you should opt in for taking a flight, as it's just over an hour and costs on average between $30 and $70. This is definitely a no-brainer, but the choice is yours. Luckily in Cusco, there are plenty of cheap Airbnbs and hostels to choose from. We ended up booking a 4-bedroom house for $70 for the night. And looking back at the listing now, it's listed at $23 per night, so prices do vary by time of year. In terms of where to stay, there's no real wrong answer here, but I would recommend picking somewhere to the west of the airport and near the Plaza de Armas. This is a pretty central location surrounded by a lot to do, and it's also closer to the train station, which we'll be covering shortly. Another piece of advice on where to stay is to make sure there's a grocery store within walking distance. This is important because Cusco is situated approximately 3,400 meters or over 11,000 feet in the mountains, so a very common threat is altitude sickness. To combat this, make sure to hydrate really well before and after arrival, and having a grocery store close is perfect as you can quickly pick up something to drink, as the tap water is not safe to consume. The first thing you should do when you arrive to the Cusco airport is to head on over to the taxi desk by the exit and book a taxi. Given how small this airport is, and since it only has one exit, you definitely won't miss it. The reason why we'd recommend this over a rideshare service is because you'll be able to get the contact info from the driver and can pre-schedule pickups throughout the city during your stay. One last thing is that in Cusco, Uber is also available. While we did use it occasionally to find rides, we often found that getting an Uber took way too long due to the limited amount of drivers. If you're visiting, a smart thing for you to do is to find some type of coca leaf product. Using coca leaves really helps to prevent and cure symptoms of altitude sickness and is commonly used amongst locals. Different coca products include teas, candies, and raw leaves. Out of all the options we tried, the teas and chewing on the raw leaves seem to work the best. You can find coca tea at just about every grocery store and can usually find the leaves at small shops. So, when you visit Machu Picchu and pass through Cusco, buy some of these products ASAP, or you may just pay the ultimate price. In order to get to Machu Picchu, the next part of our journey requires us to travel to the town of Aguas Calientes, also known as Machu Picchu Pueblo. Aguas Calientes is also referred to as the gateway to Machu Picchu, as it's the closest town to the archaeological site and serves as the main entry point for visitors traveling to and from Machu Picchu. To get to Aguas Calientes, you can either hike the Incan Trail, which is about a 4-day trek, or if you're lazy like us, you can simply take a train. In Cusco, there are 2 train providers that can take you to the Machu Picchu Pueblo station: Peru Rail and Inca Rail. Both providers are valid options, but note that they do offer slightly different experiences. However, we ended up choosing Peru Rail due to the price at the time of our booking. When we went in the month of June, a 2-way ticket to and from Aguas Calientes ran us a total of about $114 per person. On the day of our travel, we had to drive to the Puroy train station, which is the main terminal for Peru Rail. We ended up scheduling a ride with our taxi driver, whose number we got from the airport as previously mentioned. You should plan on arriving at least 30 minutes early to the station, and you can order some coffee or snacks while you wait for your train to arrive. Once you end up boarding your train, you'll find that the train itself is pretty comfortable, as they have plenty of space, a bathroom on board, and they also serve food and drinks. In total, the ride took about 3 hours and 45 minutes, but it seemed to go by pretty quickly as you get to enjoy the scenic views along the way. Upon arrival at the station, you can pat yourself on the back as you finally made it to the town of Aguas Calientes and are now one step closer to making it to Machu Picchu. Aguas Calientes is a very small town, and you can easily explore everything there is on foot in a few hours tops. Given the size, any location for your place of stay should be completely fine. Just note, there is a slight incline as you walk up this direction, but it really shouldn't be anything to worry about. We ended up staying at the Peru Coca Hotel B&B and paid $41.66 for the room. Rena, who worked there, was incredibly helpful and even woke up early to cook us a nice breakfast before we went off to Machu Picchu. When booking, you should decide on how many days you want to stay. You can either take it easy and relax before heading back down to Cusco, or you can do what we did and hop on the train to Cusco after completing Machu Picchu. If you're in a rush and are only staying for the night, a great thing about this B&B is that you're able to store your luggage after you check out. This means that you can leave everything behind while you visit Machu Picchu and can come collect it once you're done. In order to get to Machu Picchu from Aguas Calientes, you'll need to pre-purchase a bus ticket. You can do so in person at several bus ticket offices located here. We purchased these the day prior to our trip and had no issues with availability. The tickets cost $24 per person round trip, and in order to get them, you need to have a physical passport for each person in your group with you. On the day of your trip to Machu Picchu, you can find buses lined up right outside the ticket offices. Once there, you shouldn't have any issues with getting on a bus, because in the mornings, buses leave every 5 to 10 minutes. In order to get on the bus, you'll need to have your passport with you, alongside your bus ticket and the ticket into Machu Picchu. In order to get tickets to visit Machu Picchu, you can either purchase them on the Peruvian government's website or on TripAdvisor. These tickets should be bought months in advance prior to your trip to ensure there's availability for the time slots you prefer. We ended up buying our tickets on the government site as it was the cheaper of the two options. However, one important thing to note is that the government of Peru actually has two different sites on which you can purchase your tickets. One site is for English-speaking tourists with 24-hour support and is priced in USD, and the other site is for locals with no support offered. To save some money, if you purchase your tickets on the local site and pay in Peruvian soles, you can save roughly 21 USD per person. Just note, this site is in Spanish, but you can easily download the Google Translate browser extension to help you navigate through the process. Also, the prices I just mentioned are assuming you purchase the most commonly recommended ticket, which includes access to circuits 1, 2, 3, and 4. When you arrive at Machu Picchu, you have the choice of deciding what circuit you'll end up taking. Each circuit is essentially a different path you'll take to navigate your way through the ruins. These circuits all slightly differ in terms of difficulty, what you'll see, and how long it takes. Circuit 1 is about a 2-hour trek, and it's the best circuit if you're going just for the above vantage point photos and don't have time to explore the ruins below. Circuit 2 is the most popular out of all the circuits, and it's the route we ended up choosing as well. It takes roughly 3 hours, and you get to basically visit everything at Machu Picchu with all 3 vantage points and a complete tour of the ruins. Circuit 3 is the shortest at 1.5 hours, and it's said to be the easiest of all the circuits and best for those who have difficulty with climbing stairs, as you only stay on the ground level. And finally, we have Circuit 4, which is essentially a longer version of Circuit 3, but can also be paired with Huayna Picchu Mountain tickets, which is a separate mountain that takes about an hour to climb, but gives you the best views of Machu Picchu. When you get off the bus from Aguas Calientes, you'll have arrived at the Machu Picchu entrance. When you're there, if you haven't already booked one in advance, you'll find plenty of tour guides to talk to. Picking up a tour guide is 100% recommended, because if you don't have one, you will accidentally overlook most things or won't understand their significance or their history. After getting a guide, you can simply tell them which circuit you'd like to take, and then set off on your journey to witness one of the world's 7 wonders firsthand. A special thanks to everyone who has made it this far in the video. I tried my best to condense as much information as I could about getting to Machu Picchu while keeping it as short as possible. I hope this guide proves to be useful to those planning their future trips to Machu Picchu and inspiring to those interested in visiting this once-in-a-lifetime destination. As a friendly reminder, you can find links to everything we covered today in the video description below. Feel free to leave any questions or thoughts in the comment section, and as always, we would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Doing so really helps out our new and small platform, enables us to continue making this kind of content, and allows these types of videos to be shared with fellow travelers. So thanks again for tuning into another video brought to you by yours truly, Backpack Gringo.